Embrace this. Strategies are not to predict markets. High win rate doesn't mean profitability. Trading emotion free is impossible. Change starts with acceptance, and the real edge is in the trader. Hey there, Tamir from Fibonaccis-Traders.com here with the daily market recap. We will go over Netflix before and after earnings, and as usual, SPY, Qs, Apple, Tesla, and many more. So, hit the like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the rest of the video. Netflix before the earnings during hours closed minus 3.2% all the way to the 314 area, 315. Then came the report. Market liked the report and Netflix went almost 7% to the upside, and 7% is towards the 334 area, which is a very interesting resistance area for price action. So let's see if Friday on Netflix can close up and above this area, and this will validate that we are still intact inside uptrend channel on Netflix. SPY doji off the 390 area, closing just below. Now let's see if this doji will validate as a trend reversal back to the upside, or weekly we are going back down towards last week's low, 386 area. So let's see where price will take us. All we have to do is follow price and manage risk, because this is the only thing we have full control of as traders, managing our risk. QQQ went towards the 275 area. This area was a very important level of support and resistance. Now doji off this level. Once again, let's see where the weekly close will take us, towards the 273 or just slightly above towards the 277. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Where Friday will close. IWM, as we said in previous videos, once we had this doji, we identified with high probability that a downtrend and reversal will occur, and here we are. And this trend line now is getting retested as support, because it was a strong resistance. So trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. So from resistance, now it's becoming support. And let's see if Friday can hold up and above this trend line, or are we going to close below it? Dow Jones, another doji of the 330 area. As we said, this area, the 330, 329 is a very important support for the Dow Jones. Below it, we might go and retest the 324 and maybe even this trend line to the downside. On the weekly, we can clearly see a potential double top of the 345 area. Now let's see, we need 324 on the Dow Jones on the weekly to hold. Otherwise, this double top will get validated, and we will go towards the 314 and maybe back to the 300. So always zoom in, zoom out to get a better point of view on price action. GDX, Vanek Gold Miners ETF, looking good. Still in an uptrend since November's low at the 22.50, now at the 32. On the weekly, we will zoom out to get a better point of view on price action. Swing high, swing low. Now we can see that price is struggling with the 618 area, which is this one. Why? Because only by looking left we can see it was resistance, support, resistance, and now once again resistance, weekly close above it, and we can assume with high probability 35.50 and maybe even 41.50 to the upside on GDX. So it's on my watch list. Bitcoin, nothing new, waiting for a decision, breaking up and above the 21,500, or if bulls will give up, for now, we will see price going towards the 20K and maybe even back to the 19K. The 19K is a very important level of support, as we can see. So let's see if Bitcoin weekly bulls, as we can see, this trend line is a very tough one for the bulls. If they will give up, it's going back to retest the 18,100 on the weekly. Zoom in, zoom out. Mara, if we are looking at the Bitcoin, we need to look at Mara. Let's see Mara if she can hold the 690 and going back to this trend line here, or if Bitcoin bulls will give up, Mara will go back 570 and maybe even all the way back to 450. Ethereum also same as Bitcoin, nothing much in the past week or so. We can see 1600 tough resistance together with this trend line. This trend line goes all the way back to November 2021. 1 year plus of downtrend on Ethereum. Now very interesting area, consolidating between this trend line and the 1520. Bulls giving up 14 and maybe even back to the 1340, managing to break up and above. We have all the levels to the upside to manage our risk for potential resistance. Dollar index continuing to slide down on this trend line. Support will be the 101. Below that, we will go back to double digits towards the 99 and the 98. Oil, crude, once again, we can see clearly without any indicators on the chart that trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. Several days, price is trying to get up and above this trend line, and for now, it's failing. If bulls will give up, we can assume with high probability 78 and 75 are next support. Apple struggling to get back above the 135 area. Let's see where Apple will take us on the weekly. For now, we have a doji on the weekly, and we know that the doji is the #1 signal in candlestick analysis for an indecision. So if we take Fibonacci, swing high, swing low, we can see 138 is a very strong resistance because it was a very important support. Only by looking left, Fibonacci help us to find and identify more easily support and resistance area, but we can do it without, only by looking left. Now let's see if I assume that during Friday price will not close above the 138, but these are the two levels, the 131 to the downside and 138 to the upside for next week on Apple. Tesla, on the weekly, we can see 4 consecutive dojis, basically moving sideways between the 110 and the 130 area. We have this major downtrend channel I assume that this week it will not break to the upside. So for next week, we have the 115 to the downside to look at, and this orange trend line as resistance for the upside. Nvidia, another perfect example of why trend lines are the true support resistance for price action. And now we can assume once again that this week a break to the upside will not happen. We have a doji, once again a doji of a trend line, doji, trend line, downside, doji, trend line, downside, and once again we have a doji, trend line. Now let's see where are the potential support resistance for Nvidia. We can see 167 breaking down and under on the weekly. 152 will be next, and we have a potential double top of this area here. So 152 needs to hold, otherwise we will visit 134 and maybe even 123 to the downside. So always zoom in, zoom out to get a better point of view on price action. And Nvidia on the daily, we have this slight gap over here that will get filled, which is a good news for bulls, but we also have this gap over here at the 150, which is a good news for bears. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please hit the like and subscribe will be much appreciated. Join our Discord. We trade together, we share ideas, we help each other become our own indicators. We are not an alert service. We want each and every trader to perform at its best on the mental side, on managing risk side. And then until the next video, stay safe.